Hey, Curious here. I had a thought. Uh, yeah, that's about it. No, I was watching a video about sex trafficking, and I've been watching a few or seeing them fly by. I haven't watched them. So this really isn't too informed a video, but I was watching it, and it's like, I was thinking to myself, wait a minute. This is from the same person that talks about neocolonialism, right? And I gotta be thinking about values. Because it's like, well, values and ideology that is based upon the resources that you get from shared ideology or even different ideology, but ones that you use your resources to make happen. I'll explain that in just a second. I know that sounds like jibber jabber, but it's not. Not quite. Maybe, but not initially. Check it out. If you talk about people coming to America and setting up neocolonial things and spreading Christian values and stuff, well, they set up Christian values and they imposed a religious thing, but then they brought those years of technology, even though it was just pre-industrial and then industrial. The philosophy enabled the technology. Even if it was just cotton looms and plows and horses, it's technology. Technology is an application of resource. All it is it's an application of resource to consolidate energy. The field you plow is not one that you have to have 4 or 5 people frigging doing it by hand. Which means you have to spend less effort on food and food gathering to get that necessity done. That's what it means by energy. Resource. So, if you're from America or an industrial nation, and you're doing human or anti-human trafficking, and that's all noble and well, but you got a problem. You do have a problem. Even if your values are a little different from the established majority culture, I guess the white dominant culture, but really it's the Western Eurocentric value system that enables the technology base that you're taking resources from. Even if your values aren't the same exactly, and how exactly are they different? Think about that too. It's kind of a two-pronged question thought. You got to think that what you're doing in spreading those anti-trafficking laws is a form of neocolonialism. Well, if you say that, you could say, well, nothing you do can be, not inherent upon the fruits you take from the people that displaced Native Americans, if you're from America, or something like that. Or the uh, things you took from, or England gained from its neocolonialism. So I guess that's a guilt game, and that's not quite fair. That's just, these are just thoughts in motion. So, if there's a perfectly good explanation, I've done a couple of videos like this before, and it's like, there were perfectly obvious answers that I didn't get at the time. So this was one of those videos. But okay, let's say you're not guilty of taking from your resource base that you might not ideologically agree with. Let's say that. How guilty are you from taking from the ideological base directly from that Eurocentric dominant culture, or white dominant culture, but I like to think of it as Western European first world nation culture? It's a little different because you've got non-majority types that, Hispanic, black, even though they were indentured and freed, they didn't leave. Maybe they couldn't. That's a subject for itself too. Patriation and repatriation, and have the rights to be established into something that they should object to. I don't know. Anyway, that's another subject. But, there's a lot of minorities in Western dominant culture. French, Italian, Spanish. There's a lot of ethnicities that can be considered minority, but still Western, that are here. Or, conversely, some people consider them both white and minorities. Jewish. So, I just had to ask, okay, these people are non-white, but they're Western, but they share your liberal values. It's like they say white liberalism is racist. Well, is Western liberal values, even possibly sex-positive feminism, racist, or at least Western Eurocentric? I think that's what I'm getting at. I mean, you can have different values that are the same, but have different inflections. They might have a different ideological base, and therefore have a whole different nuance, and be the same thing, just overlapping. Capitalist, communist, religious, liberal, libertarian, whatever, anarchist. But then again, they could, and this is a very nuanced point, they could share the ideological base you have, and you're not perceiving that base because it's something you inherited in the white dominant culture. Now, what if that white dominant culture, or Western dominant culture, because there's minorities involved in the Western Eurocentric view, is something that your politics in feminism isn't it isn't meshing with your anti neocolonial view. In other words, to accept anti-trafficking laws, even sex-positive feminist type, might be accepting your place in the new front on Western neocolonialism. Or not. I honestly don't know. But I thought, in my own way, this is the thought that occurred to me in viewing the video. How is sex femme anti-trafficking law not an extension of modern Western neo-colonialism? I guess that's what I should have started the video with, but that's it. Okay? I know it's kind of a gotcha question, but isn't reality a gotcha question? I mean, aren't that's what we're supposed to be thinking about and marching forward to? Why is liberalism a comfy, advocacy-based viewpoint? Shouldn't it go to where the hard questions are, even for itself, without just cutting it apart? I don't know if I'm a liberal. I'm probably not a liberal, but that's where my thoughts go. Right to the worst part of anything. Because that's where the truth is. Nah, I don't know about truth. Truth is what you make it, I guess. Anyway, that's my point. Bye.